Diamondbacks get the opening day win 8-2 against the Rockies. Jordan, it looked like the Diamondbacks hadn't missed a beat from last season. Obviously, the NLDS end wasn't the way they wanted to end it, but that wild card win, they came back out and it almost seemed like that energy was still here in Chase Field today.
And their ability to jump on Jon Gray. You saw the first two batters get on just like that happened in the wild card game, and then Jake Lamb was able to clear the bases loaded, had a huge double. Actually, Paul Goldschmidt was stuck at third because it hung up so long that all the runners had to stay back, but he knocked in 2 runs. They really bounced back nicely after Pat Corbin gave up a solo shot in the top of the first. But yeah, the energy was definitely there. The Diamondbacks did a nice job with their pregame videos and really touching on that magical season they had last season. And it's pretty fair to say Archie Bradley's now the face of the franchise.
Let's talk about Patrick Corbin's outing. 5 2/3 inning. He had 8 strikeouts. He spoke after the game about his command and felt like it was really on. What did you think of his overall outing?
I thought that the most impressive parts that he had was after he gave up 2 solo shots, one to DJ LeMahieu, the other 2 Nolan Arenado. Arenado also got a single after that LeMahieu home run in the first, but he just went back and attacked hitters. It didn't look like it shook him at all, and he just continued to get after this really, really good Rockies lineup. And like he said, when you're giving up solo shots with the offense that was coming out for the Diamondbacks, that you can live with that. That's fine. And this lineup that the Rockies have, they're going to get theirs. So the fact that there weren't any runners on that was just huge for him. The pitch count got a little high there.
93.
Yep, 93 through 5 2/3. And Torey said they were being pretty cautious with him. He probably could have gone a little bit longer, but it's opening day. There's 161 more of these, so why rush and string him out when you have plenty of fresh arms?
Here's more on what Lovullo and Corbin have to say after the opening day start.
The man felt great all night, so just able to get ahead of guys. I think kind of kept them off balance, got a couple fastballs looking. They were maybe looking off speed, but felt good both sides of the plate.
The secondary stuff was very, very effective. I know that there were some key at-bats where he's able to throw some secondary stuff, not necessarily in the right counts, and he executed. It was about execution in the right moments with the right pitches for Patrick tonight.
Jake Lamb went 2 for 5 tonight with a double and 4 RBIs. He still struggled against Chris Russin, a lefty there. What do you see kind of coming out of spring training? Obviously, that struggle right there against lefties in 2018, despite this awesome outing today.
I just think Jake Lamb's a better hitter against righties than lefties. I think that's just good. Probably for most of his career, they're going to try to get that matchup. The opponents is the lefty on lefty against Jake Lamb, and he can improve. He made strides last year, and I think he'll continue to make strides, but it's just always going to be one of those things where they're going to try to find that lefty-lefty matchup against him. I don't think it's too much of a knock, and I think that Torey Lovullo really tries to set him up where there is that power bat, that righty behind them, so they can't string a lefty along for too long, and that's where Steven Souza was going to come in.
Right.
Obviously, he's on the disabled list, so it's not quite there yet, but I don't think it's too much of an indication or a change in terms of last year. We saw this throughout, and he continues to get better, and the only way he's going to get better is with reps.
Facing him. And how about just overall? Obviously, with those 4 RBIs, we saw a fire in Jake Lamb that we saw last season, as you mentioned. So overall, how big is it to come out in the first game of the season and for Jake Lamb to have that big of a game?
Yeah, and he struggled in the second half the past 2 years.
Right.
So for him to come out hot, he's a notoriously hot hitter in the first half of the season. That's good to see for fans to see him put that behind him. And it was 3 bases loaded situations for him in this game, and I thought he really controlled his emotions well, didn't get too ahead of himself. I think he's a young guy, but he's logged a lot of major league time now, and I think you're starting to see some of that veteran presence come up with him in those big moments.
2 newcomers made an impact on opening day for the Diamondbacks, Devin Marrero and Jarrod Dyson. We got to see Dyson's speed, and we got to see what Devin Marrero can contribute to that middle infield spot.
Yeah, and before the game, what Torey Lovullo said about Marrero is he's going to try to set him up when there's a left-handed pitcher because he is strong against lefties. And sure enough, the top half of that inning, he started a double play that it was a pretty crucial double play for them to pull. They were able to get out of a potentially big inning that the Rockies were about to have, and then Marrero just comes back up with an RBI single, brings in another big insurance run for that team. So a really good debut for him, but then you look at Jarrod Dyson, and you could tell Torey Lovullo when they were able to acquire him, he was excited, and he said that they were able to run the bases very well. They were able to get their steals, but they didn't have a true burner, and this was a guy that is a true burner. He lays down a perfect drag bunt that's able to advance the runner. It's later found out that he was safe, so he's on first base, is able to steal second to third, and really just wreaked a lot of havoc on the base path. And when the pitcher is thinking about that, you have Jake Lamb come out. He hits a little seeing-eye single that kind of hangs up there. So just a huge impact. And defensively, he had a great game as well with A.J. Pollock and David Peralta out there as well.
Just going to bring that up. Defensively in the outfield, every single outfielder made a play, as we were talking about before we came out here. They made a play where they had to cover some ground to get that. Mm-hmm. Dyson's speed in the outfield and Pollock's and Peralta's just experience in the outfield is going to prove pretty helpful for the Diamondbacks this year.
Absolutely, and seeing a healthy A.J. Pollock out there where he's not hesitant at all. You saw that kind of click about 3/4 of the way through the season last year where he's just a completely different outfielder, and he was fresh today, and he made a couple really nice plays that could hang up some center fielders, but he didn't miss a beat. David Peralta is a very good outfielder all around. That's what Torey Lovullo said, but he really thrives in left field as well, so that's a great position for him. And Dyson just made quite a few really good plays. And you bring back Steven Souza. He's also an above-average defender as well, so I think you're going to see some really good defense should these 3 or 4 outfielders stay healthy throughout the year.
Diamondbacks win this one on opening day, 8-2 against the Rockies. Game 1 of 162 is in the books for 2018. Keep it on sports360az.com for more baseball coverage across the state.